A Chinese rocket weighing about 21 tons will fall to the Earth in the upcoming days. Debris from the rocket could crash at random locations. Beijing launched the rocket into space without putting in a safe re-entry system in place. NTD's Don Ma has more.
Within the next few days, a Chinese rocket orbiting Earth will fall back to the ground. The rocket may or may not burn up completely while re-entering the atmosphere, and debris could crash to Earth at random. The Chinese rocket weighs a massive 21 tons. Unneeded spacecraft parts usually take a dunk into the ocean in pre-planned locations as they return to Earth. But this one is out of control, and parts of it could potentially land on populated areas. The uncontrolled re-entry will be one of the biggest ever. Last week, China launched its first piece of its permanent space station into orbit. It was carried there by a Chinese rocket called the Long March 5B. The rocket successfully sent the space station piece into orbital velocity. Orbital velocity is the speed where an object needs to move to stay in orbit, and how fast it needs to move to be able to resist the Earth's gravitational pull. When objects reach orbital velocity, they don't fall back to Earth. But the Long March rocket itself did not reach orbital velocity and is now being pulled back to Earth. Payload rockets like the Long March often don't reach orbital velocity. Usually, built-in systems enable a controlled re-entry in a designated and safe location. But Beijing scientists didn't equip the Long March with a re-entry system. As a result, it will randomly fall back to the planet. U.S. military radars put its current movement speed at around 16,000 miles per hour. Based on its trajectory, U.S.-based news outlet Space News roughly estimates its point of re-entry could reach as far north as New York, Madrid, and Beijing, or as far south as Chile and New Zealand. This isn't the first time Beijing has opted for an uncontrolled landing. Its previous Long March rocket also came back via the same method in 2020. Debris from it reportedly hit villages in Africa, accompanied by sonic booms and bright flashes. That's according to local media. No injuries were reported. Jonathan McDowell is an astrophysicist at the Harvard-Smithsonian Center for Astrophysics. He told Space News that by current standards, it's unacceptable to let it re-enter uncontrolled. He added that since 1990, nothing over 10 tons has been deliberately left in orbit to re-enter uncontrolled. Beijing's recent rocket launch is not its last either. China plans to send up 10 more rockets before the end of 2022. Don Ma, NTD News.